So, another piece that is needed in the survival state is safe place. Now, I understand I have been in many classrooms. I am not ignorant that many classrooms do not have a place. In other words, a physical place for a safe place. Some schools have sensory rooms. Some schools have safe calm down rooms. And let me just go ahead and differentiate. A calm down room is not a room with a door that you shut the kid in. I I know nationally there are some of those. That is not what I'm speaking about here. It's a place where a student can go to regulate. And usually there has to be an adult there because most kids don't have those skills. So some classrooms are able to carve out a place. It could be a rocking chair. It could be a beanbag chair. It could be a true conscious discipline safe place, outfitted out with all the bells and whistles. At the end of the day, if you find yourself in column A, which is children can remove themselves and come back and get back engaged with learning, then you're going to really click into this idea. But if you feel as though kids can't be trusted and they're going to abuse a safe place, that some kids are just too lazy, they're manipulative, they should know how to act, then this is going to be kind of tough for you. But here's again, you got to make this your own. So let's jump into it. So the safe place is a self-regulation center. And basically it can be a physical location in the classroom. It really does not need to be outside your door in the hall. It's like me sending a child, think of a 4-year-old, 3-year-old learning the ABC song, and they get to that magic letter, LMNOP, right? You don't say, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? Take yourself to the corner, and until you learn how to sing the alphabet song correctly, don't you come back out. Well, no, of course not. That's silly. Okay. This is where this gets hard. When it comes to academics, we understand children come to us missing skills. But when it comes to these self-regulation, impulse control, cognitive flexibility, all those sort of pieces, we assume those pieces should be in place. Even though if I ask 99% of you, is the child's brain fully developed? You will all tell me no. And you're right. You're 100% right. This is where this is tough. And as we've talked about, as you know, this is where we have to teach it. So here we go. The 5 steps of self-regulation. Now, let me just go ahead and tell you this. I'm already seeing my 3rd grade teachers and even 2nd grade teachers rolling their eyes going, how am I going to have time for this? The goal of conscious discipline is that for pre-K, kindergarten, and even 1st grade, we have to pour into these strategies that are intentional so that they start to internalize them. And that way, as they get older, teachers still have to reinforce the skill, but they're not having to do it with the intensity or the intentionality as when they're younger. And that's the hope. But I think you all know that's not always the case. All right. So as hopefully Coleman County begins to move forward with implementing this program, it will become more of the norm. But right now we've got a lot of gaps. So step 1, your kid is upset. So when you tell a kid, whoa, you're upset, you're actually practicing metacognition. I like to use a phrase that is humorous, usually decided on upon me and the kid. So if I see the kid starting to rev up, I'll say, if we've already decided on something funny like penguins eat popsicles, it's a way to kind of smile and say, let me take a break. I do not have a lot of luck with if the kid is getting angry to say, oh, you're mad at that moment in time, because they're usually going to bow up at me. But step 1 is I am. And this requires metacognition, meaning I'm going to step myself away from the problem. Okay. Understand that. I cannot say that enough. The first step requires higher thinking skills, and we may not have that when we're angry. Actually, we don't. Okay, they step away. Then they got to breathe. This is our 4 choices. They can have their choice. They can just take a breath and breathe on their own. All right. Then they got to name that feeling. You name it to tame it. Okay. I'm angry. Take that big breath. Now, some kids want to read. Some kids want to do finger plays. Some kids want to look at a picture of their family. Some of your middle school and high school, they're just going to take a walk and get some water, or they're just going to breathe through it, take that moment, doodle, fidget toy. Okay, this is this right here that's just going to settle down that nervous system, and then they're going to get to their solution to solve. These are 5 steps. You most likely do these every day without even thinking it through. Okay, but for your kids, this is just asking you to be more intentional. And again, these 5 steps can be put into your classroom and you own them. So if you see a kid getting angry, let's take it and make it totally different. Hey, I've already decided with Micah. Micah, listen, I know you have big anger. When you're angry, I'm going to say to you, pirates love popcorn. Okay, that's stupid, but okay. All right, so I see Micah starting to get angry. He's starting to throws a book, whatever. And I say, hey, Micah, pirates eat popcorn. Now, I've already told him when I say that, he's going to step away. He steps away, and maybe I have a chair in my room that has a box of fidgets. So as he's stepping away, he walks over. I walk over to him. I take a deep breath, and I say with him, mirror neurons are kicking on. It's going to be all right. Take some breaths. Breathe through this. Let's figure this out. I see you're overwhelmed with the task that I've asked you to do. He might be having a fidget then, as he's having his fidget toy, as he's having his book, or whatever he's doing. I'll say, how do you think we should move forward? I don't know. Phenomenal. 2 positive choices. Do you want me to help you on the first one? Or do you want to try the first one and I will come and see how you get done? Let's just do one. What that's going to do, and he might say, I don't know. And I'll say, fine, stand up. I'm going to do the first one with you at your desk, and then you're going to do number 2, and you move them on over. If they can't find that solution, that's a simple way of working through these 5 steps, and you don't have to have something like this in your room. Now, this in your room for pre-K and kindergarten, phenomenal. But if you don't have the space and you don't have the room, that's okay, because you're still going to have to work kids through these 5 steps, probably in 5th grade, 8th grade, 12th grade. I've got adult friends who I still have to work through these 5 steps. When we're dysregulated, we need co-regulation. I'm almost sure I went over my 5 minutes. Sorry. It's getting harder and harder, but hopefully it's helpful.